Don't live your life. You don't have a wife, you don't have kids, you don't have a business, you have nothing better to do with your time. Spend your time every waking second, hour, make content.
Exactly. And then Mr. Beast says, no, pause, invest millions of dollars and effort into one specific piece of content and let that then do the work for you. And there's our boy.
All right, people, let's chat through scheduling, publishing, all the fun things. What are the best practices? What are the things that you should be doing? How should you be publishing your content? Should you be publishing your content at 12 in the morning or 12 in the afternoon? Many questions. Let's answer them right now. Derek, you ready?
What's going on? Yes, sir. Let's do it.
All right, bro. Let's do it. With scheduling and publishing, a lot of people ask the question of like, is posting time everything? Should I post my content at 12 in the morning? When should I publish my content? How would you, if I came to you and I was like, dude, I have all my content, how should I be scheduling it? Should I just post it on Instagram? Are schedulers evil? Are they going to destroy my account? When should I post? Do I need hashtags? Do they go in the captions? Do they go in the comments? Like, if I'm brand new to doing this stuff, I have a lot of questions. So how would you start that conversation?
Absolutely. Well, going back to schedulers, we do use a scheduler. We've done some testing, whether scheduling natively, scheduling non-natively. We do like using schedulers. We use Metricool. But let's start first with the, you also mentioned posting time. We typically recommend post on or just after when your users, your main amount of your users are most active on whatever platform you're talking about. One of the cool things we know in Metricool and we have access to is the best times recommended tool. It's essentially just a heat map of when the most active times are per day, per hour of your content on that specific platform. And it's the darker the color, the more people are on at that time. It even breaks it down with a percentage number. Like, this is the average amount of percent of your users, your followers that are on the platform at this specific time.
So you recommend people just use a scheduler instead of just posting on the platform by itself?
It depends. Like YouTube, we do post natively on YouTube.
Why?
A lot of that has to do with, if it's short form, we do use a scheduler because it's really effective, it's efficient, and we don't think that scheduling those is any different inside of YouTube versus Metricool. However, we do post schedule natively inside of YouTube, mainly because there are just more features that you can unlock and utilize as you schedule it, and there's less errors that can take place. Rather, if you use Metricool, sometimes there's a file size limit to kind of connect through from Metricool over to YouTube, or a length limit, something like that. We've had some issues, so because of that, we just bypass and we just schedule natively.
And what are the advantages of using a scheduler versus doing it natively? Because we did it for a long time. I know that we've both done some individual research. What did you find on what are the advantages? And maybe if you have some disadvantages as well, hit those as well.
Yeah, for sure. Advantages, I would say, it is a hub for your data, as you can look at all of your connected platforms at one and see what are the trends overall since the point of connection. I can analyze kind of sort of all of my content holistically, not just one platform, start to see categories, all kinds of reports that can be generated from the platform. Also,
so see your analytics. You can see like what's happening on the platform.
Yeah, you can at a glance see your full content calendar, every platform, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, Insta, TikTok, LinkedIn.
You can take the same post and post it to multiple platforms at once, right?
You can. And so this is actually where I want to park for a sec is, a lot of times we all, as creators, we have let's say it's our baby platform, the one that we invest the most time into. If you're a writer, some of our clients are naturally gifted thought leaders, writers. Twitter or X is going to be their number one platform.
Yeah.
They have the most followers, the most engagements. Others, it's Instagram. They're much more just visually oriented. They are great on camera. They do reels really well. Some might be YouTube. So, for example, let's say your primary channel is Insta. Well, rather than yes, if you have a budget like Alex Hormozy or somebody to invest in having a unique editor and for every platform, and
this is with 70 or I think it's somewhere between. I think he's now spending maybe $200,000 a month on content. I think.
Yeah, I know. It used to be 70 some months ago it was 80, but 70, 80 now. Who knows? But I would say start with the platform that you're already the most active on, that you feel the most comfortable with. Create the content in mind with that platform in mind, and then repurpose it by changing just a little thing as you reschedule across other platforms. Maybe you take an Insta Reel. Then take it. Why not post it on TikTok as well? Why not post it on YouTube Shorts, on LinkedIn? on Twitter, on X. Why not? You're missing the opportunity of getting additional views and impressions, right? When you've got a valuable piece of content. But what you can do is change, as you duplicate that post a bunch of times inside of the scheduler, metrical, you can change the caption or change the hashtags for each of those posts. Make it slightly different. Maybe upload a different thumbnail specifically for Instagram, and then just let the other select a different one for the other platforms.
So how are you balancing using a scheduler in terms, because there's certain things that natively you get on an app with like certain thumbnails. How are you balancing when it comes to scheduling and publishing, like posting everything through a scheduler and kind of making sure the audience doesn't feel like it's a pump and dump type of thing where you're just pushing out content for no reason? How do you balance that? Is there like a practice that you can go through for the person who's creating content? Because sometimes I know I've felt this with people myself. Like I'll go to their page and it just kind of feels like they did repurpose it, and it doesn't feel like they're actually active on that platform. What are some of the things that you just, let's not talk about like the engagement side, like the back end, because that's up to the publisher. But what are the things that you would do with the posts themselves to make it feel custom to each platform?
That would be in the captions. You can adjust the captions. Also, keep in mind, you don't have to repost every post to every platform. Let's say you're really active on TikTok. Maybe every week you decide, I'm going to look back 1 month, 2 months. I'm just going to select 1 or 2 top posts from that month or that week of relatively 2-3 months ago, the week of that month. And I'm only going to repost the top one because I know that one performed really well on TikTok. Now I think it'll likely perform well on Insta as well. So why not repost it? Because otherwise it's kind of just wasted. But at the same time, like we've heard it said, you want to not just feel as if you're repurposing the same thing over and over without any intention, because it can fall like it falls flat a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's where you can really try to write your caption around inviting whatever engagement that platform allows. Maybe it's check out the link in my bio. Maybe it's drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about this, or save or share this post. You can add some variation in your captions to make it feel a little bit fresh.
Yeah, and if I could add, I think there's this thing where people can feel it platform to platform. I've heard a lot of creators talk about this, excuse me, where you'll notice going from one platform, it's the same caption, is the same thumbnail, it's the same feel. One of the things that you can do, and this is why we suggest content creators, like you can really dial in your schedule week to week in terms of spend 1 hour a week. If it's just bare minimum, spend 1 hour a week creating your content. Spend 1 other hour just writing your captions and engaging with your audience. Spend 30 minutes building your captions for each of your posts. That's maybe 20 posts. Captions would be very easy to write. And then spend 20 to 25 minutes just responding to your people. But one of the things that we actually do a lot is we try to customize the feel per platform. So we take a post, let's say post number 1 through 5, right? We make 5 posts in a week. What posts on Instagram on Monday is not the same post that we put on YouTube on Monday.
Yeah, meaning we don't ever post the same post on all platforms, on any 2 platforms on a single day, right? Like we stagger it so that it's always a different day that piece of content.
And what does that do for the audience? The audience then starts to get used to, well, I want to be able to see all the different pieces of content. If you have people that are more fans of you, they can start going to your other pieces of content and go find like the newest piece that already dropped, or this thing that. Like you can go to each platform and see a different piece of content being done.
Yeah. Rather than taking one post, duplicating it on all platforms to go out at the same time every day, on the same day, take the one post and that post goes out on YouTube on Monday, Instagram on Tuesday, Facebook on Wednesday, Twitter on Thursday, LinkedIn on Friday, right?
Right.
Staggering it like that. Okay. Very cool. Yeah, you can stagger it like that. But I like to start with your main platform and then duplicate from there. I think you'll have the best result.
Yep. And just a couple other things you can do. Change your caption. Look at where you should put your hashtags per platform. Different platforms do better with certain hashtags, specific hashtag research. So the more specific that you can get, the better per platform. I think the best practice would probably be to just, if you had to question it, just stick with your quality and pull back if you can't be as intentional about your captions. But it's a good thing to be involved with your captions, because captions can really say a lot about your post, keep people on your post for longer or shorter, which can really affect your virality if it's a good piece of content.
Yep. Whether it's inviting engagement. We've seen a lot. There's different styles of captions. And there's our boy.
There's our boy, Mr. Taylor Welch.
Colin. Well,
My man.
What up, bro? What are you doing?
what's going on, Taylor? We are on a podcast recording right now, and you're our guest.
No. I interrupted the podcast.
You-
I'm so sorry.
You're on the podcast now, Taylor.
Wow. Well, everyone, hire Femi. That's what you should do. What are you guys discussing?
We're just talking about like boring nitty gritty stuff, like how we do, how we post stuff on your social media and how we like change things platform to platform, and we post different posts on different days to different platforms. So these all
Scheduling
feel
best
the same.
practices. Yep.
I love it.
Do
Are
we-
you in the studio?
We are in the studio.
I'm jealous. I wish I was there.
We could pull up a
Didn't
third
get the
mic.
invite. Thanks, boys.
Yeah, well, we have another episode, guys. This is a great teaser. We'll bring in Taylor later to discuss his world famous podcast, Daily Mind Medicine, which we wish he would one day bring back. It's okay. You can plug it if you want.
TaylorAWelch.com/daily. I mean, they can sign up right now. Jake, there's actually new developments. We're partnering with suicide prevention. We're gonna take Arena and we're gonna partner with Inner City Suicide Prevention. It's a technology. It's like you get people on Arena on Daily Mind Medicine. Positivity goes up, drive goes up. I haven't even told you that, but that's been in
Wow.
the works in the background.
Dang, dude. Let's go. Love
Yeah.
to hear it. What were you calling about? What's going on?
I was just telling you I'm at Mojo's. And
Oh.
I miss you. That's all.
Are you at the one in Tollgate or Franklin?
I'm in Tollgate. I'm picking it up and heading to the house. But if you wanted to do content this afternoon, I have some time,
Oh.
but we don't have to because I know I skipped on this one.
I would really like to if you can. I thought you were going to invite me to Mojo's, but it's okay. I'm down to
Well,
pill.
I have to go home because people are coming out to clean the Tesla, so I've got to get home to let them into the car.
Cleaning it again. My goodness. Dirty thing.
Yeah, I know. It's got to be fixed. All right, you guys have fun. Just call me when you're done.
All right, bro. Sounds good. See ya. Bye.
See you, Derek.
See you, man. Love you. All right. Great.
I hope you guys enjoyed this little real raw segment. I'm not cutting this out.
No, let's definitely
Maybe
keep
the
that in.
personal stuff I'll cut out, but yeah. Anyways, we were
Back
talking
to captioning.
we were talking about captioning and different posts. That was our
And
business.
you were talking about hashtags. You
Yeah.
know, definitely want to do some research. This is kind of where the onboarding comes in. We want to understand who our audience is that we're speaking to as creators. So then what are the top hashtags? Well, the way we like to do it, jump into Metricool, type in, there's a hashtag tool,
Mhm.
type in the gut hashtags and see what, maybe it's just business owner and just a list will pop up. And it'll be sorted by the most popularly used hashtags in that category. You can select, 2 to 3 around a specific who your audience is for, a few more about what the content is about, a couple more about maybe the pains and the desires that the content is covering in the video. Just keep it super relevant. I wouldn't use more than like 6 to 9. And this varies because we see, and I know you've shown me content, people who have millions of views who don't use any hashtags. Likewise, we've seen people who have lots of views and who do use hashtags. But if you are specifically starting out, I really don't see a downside to using them because it helps train the algorithm into what your content is about. As you then generate more views and more followers, it'll start to kind of understand more so and catch the people who are already searching using those hashtags.
Which is really good. So the philosophy of who, the what, and the how, or however you put it, that's a really good philosophy. And then even more tactical, while you're finding those topics and you're getting suggestions, try to pick, when you're picking, like, let's say you're picking your who. I learned this a while ago, and this really helped in terms of like narrowing in on the algorithm and how I could get to the top of a hashtag relevancy. When you're doing, let's say, hashtag 1, pretend hashtag 1, you want it to have between 1 million to 20 million posts on it. The second one, you want to see if you can find it's somewhere between 100,000 posts to 1 million posts. And then for your third hashtag, see if it's between 10,000 posts to 90,000 posts. Just because you have a higher chance of being more relevant in that hashtag when someone clicks on the hashtag, they're more likely to see your video. So use that to your advantage tactically to be in the broad category and the more niche categories.
Yeah, tapping into the niches. Those niches are really helpful. And that really also kind of reminds me of like broad SEO or like long tail search SEO.
Yeah.
SEO. So capturing the wider terms that are super competitive, but also dial into the more specific niche based ones that you're going to be more likely to show up and more likely to be clicked on when people search for those things.
100%. 100%. So, and then in terms of the types of posts, are you doing a frequency when it comes to, let's just take Instagram, like on Instagram, you can do a text post in terms of like just a photo and caption. You could do carousels. You can do reels. Is there a frequency or a schedule that you like to stick to when it comes to types of posts and when they go out, how many go out?
Yeah. Well, as we know, Gary Vee talks about post every second. Other people like Mr.
Don't
Beast
live your life.
just
You don't have a wife. You don't have kids. You don't have a business. You have nothing better to do with your time. Spend your time every waking second, hour, make content.
exactly. And then Mr. Beast says, no, pause, invest millions of dollars and effort into one specific piece of content and let that then do the work for you. So there's a balance, and it's really how often are you able to commit to content? And as long as you can keep the quality up, and what is the best way you can communicate? Are you more of a writer? Then maybe start with making graphic quotes. Repurpose quotes from X, from Twitter, capture those and drop them as Instagram carousels. Those work really well with a lot of people. Sometimes we even see people converting those images into real videos, a video format of a graphic. But we like to, we tend to start with a minimum of 3 to 5 reels per week, right? As long as the quality is there. It also has to do with your audience. What are they preferring? Let the data speak over time, because what we can break out in the data as we review it is it separates, let's say for Instagram and Facebook, it will separate posts versus reels. So we can know you posted this many posts, meaning graphic posts, text posts, and you posted this many reels, meaning short form video reels. And here's the engagement and interactions of those reels and the comments, the shares. Here's the engagement, interactions, and stuff like that of the posts. And how many, what's the percentage? Is it 50-50 reel to post? Is it 40-60? And begin to analyze that and see what is the ideal distribution of those modalities of content. And we can then begin to pivot, because if you start to produce reels and reels and reels that are not good quality, the messaging isn't resonating well with the audience. Well, that could mean A, there's too many going out. B, the quality isn't very good. C, the quality content isn't actually categorically in alignment with what the audience wants to hear, or just some general best practices aren't being applied to the way that it's edited.
Right. So yeah, there's different lengths that you can try. Like you said, the 4 to 10 second method. There's 10 to 24. Depends on the platform. And my encouragement again to you is don't get too caught up in the nitty gritty. I have seen anomalies of content be 4 minutes long with just captions and music and do 153,000 views.
Yeah.
I've seen it happen plenty of times. So it's not all about it. These are just little tactical things. Keep making content. Don't stop. Don't freak out. It's all going to be okay. One of the things that you're really good at, Derek, is you understand copywriting. You understand strategy from not only an organic side, but also a paid ad side. And so there's a multifaceted level of understanding that you have of marketing. And so in a dream world, you asked me this in the past episode we did, which was about video editing. And now we're talking about the scheduling. In a dream world, when it comes to publishing, if let's say you had 50 followers and you have access to email lists or you have access to Facebook groups, like how are you taking your content and you're on a platform that nobody knows you on and you want to push people to that and you publish a piece of content? What are all the different ways that you're getting that piece of content to other people? What does that publishing and scheduling strategy look like to get as many eyeballs as possible on a piece of content that might be really good and relevant to an audience that you don't have?
And so really, dude, the way that you can take that content is after it's been posted on Instagram, for example, or podcast or long form YouTube, take that, repurpose it sometime even as a story on Instagram, or repurpose it as a blog. Transcribe it and rewrite it as a blog format. Drop it as a podcast. Drop it as a YouTube long form. You then can email your email list with all of that good stuff and nurture your email list once every week or 2 weeks. Here's what you may have missed. Here's some of the top content. You can actually use content that was maybe from a month ago that you saw performed the best. Do a quick little newsletter style, all that good stuff. And then also, and another angle that is coming to mind too is utilize the various formats on the platform itself. So you can take a piece of content, if it worked well on, let's say, Twitter, maybe drop it as an Instagram story with text, or repurpose it elsewhere in different formats on the actual platform, so that maybe you don't only just do video short form reels, but use the same messaging. Maybe a really high-end, high-performing short form reel that you posted, you can then turn that into a quote. That becomes a week or two later a graphic carousel post, right? So you can use one piece of content in a lot of different ways, whether it's transmuting it to a different platform altogether or transmuting it to be used again as a different modality on in the existing platform. There's all kind of ways to repurpose it. Yeah, dude.
Amazing. Super good. Anything that you feel like you should add in terms of scheduling and publishing best practices? Anything else that you would add?
Get out there, schedule it, go for it. The biggest thing I would say is analyze it later. Don't forget the data, because if you're not ever reviewing your data, you're not going to be able to course correct. So we like to recommend at least look once a week and then once a month. What are my top posts on the platform? The top reels. Click on it. I usually click the top 3 reels of the week, the top 3 reels of the month. Sort that by the most views, and then again, like by the most comments or saves. Find what about these pieces made them be the top ones, because ironically, you might have a top contender on one platform, which might actually have performed way lower on another platform. And you can get some insights into categorically, what is my audience, what about this content category-wise is my audience relating to? What categories of and messaging should I speak again about, right? Or should I create more content about? Or was it in the editing? Was it in the production of that specific one? Was I just really high on fire with energy that day and that's what did it?
Yep.
Was it the hook? Did I pique a ton of curiosity in that one? Did I go really bold in a controversial statement? There's things that we can do. So we take those top 3 posts each week and each month and analyze it, and then vice versa, sort by the least. So what are the worst performing ones? Okay, I'm not going to do that type of content category ever again. So let the data lead and make sure you have a solid process for reviewing it.
Good stuff. Love it. Cool, y'all. We'll see you guys in the next one.